19 distinct communities form the greater Gardner region of central Massachusetts. In July 2026, the borders of these towns defined a landscape pushed to the edge by severe environmental extremes. A state-designated Level 2 significant drought depleted local water supplies so quickly that Gardner had to activate its emergency snake pond wells just to address the persistent odor and taste issues affecting municipal tap water. In Ashburnham, officials triggered mandatory outdoor watering bans tied directly to the flow rates of local rivers. These parched conditions also fueled deep-ground brush fires near Lake Wampanoag, requiring emergency crews to battle stubborn subterranean flare-ups. Princeton faced a different kind of heat. The fire chief issued urgent safety warnings following a statewide spike in volatile lithium-ion battery fires, adding a new layer of risk to an already dangerous fire season. Between the constant threat of brush fires and the depletion of water reserves, the environmental baseline of the region shifted, immediately straining municipal resources and public safety teams. That dry spell was interrupted by the arrival of violent, severe thunderstorms that abruptly ended the heat wave, but brought new hazards. The National Weather Service issued flash flood warnings as high-velocity winds and rapid rainfall tore through central Massachusetts, damaging utility lines and infrastructure across Barre, Hardwick, and Oakham. The month's turbulent weather carried a heavy human toll, including a fatal single-vehicle crash on Blackington Road in New Salem, where a truck struck a utility pole. These whiplash weather extremes left local governments struggling to maintain order. The rapid transition from drought to flood intensified existing civic tensions and set the stage for difficult financial decisions. While towns fought the elements, they were also facing the reality of severe municipal budget shortfalls. In Rutland, the failure of a Proposition 2.5 tax override led to immediate service cuts. The town reduced its town hall hours, canceled its historic July 4th parade and fireworks, and eventually disabled social media comments to manage the resulting public frustration. Templeton faced its own fiscal crisis. The Select Board warned that a proposed $27 million regional school budget would force over $1 million in local cuts, threatening the operations of the police, fire, and library departments. Watching these financial struggles, residents in Warwick explicitly pushed back against a similar regional school merger, fearing it would drain local funding and limit control over their own municipal budget. This instability led to several leadership vacuums. Hubbardston and Royalston both launched urgent searches for new administrators, while Orange moved to modernize its entire government by implementing its first-ever formal town charter. Forced into a defensive posture, local officials spent the month fighting to maintain basic town services amidst significant administrative and financial transitions. These battles over town identity and resources also moved into the courts and town meetings, focusing on how local land should be used. Petersham lost a major legal fight when the state Supreme Judicial Court overruled the town's zoning board, clearing the way for a 14-acre woodland solar farm that had been blocked by local forest conservation rules. In Oakham, residents voiced fierce opposition to a newly approved massive battery storage facility. The town's fire chief joined the protest, stating the project poses a chemical fire hazard that the town's small department is not equipped to manage. At the same time, Westminster scheduled a special town meeting to address a citizen petition regarding a controversial 10-acre parcel at Crocker Pond, with voters deciding whether to keep the land as public open space or return it to a private owner for $1. These zoning and land use fights represent a widening gap between state-level energy mandates and the rural conservation efforts of individual towns. Despite the municipal gridlock, July also saw communities finding ways to initiate recovery outside of standard town budgets. Towns like Phillipston and Bear bypassed local funding gaps by securing state unpaved road grants, allowing them to finally begin long-delayed infrastructure work on rural dirt roads. In Athol, the community moved past a $2 million nursing home fraud scandal by launching an $18 million culinary incubator at Launch Space, designed to connect local farmers directly to new food entrepreneurs. In Ashby, citizens organized a push for a new charter school to replace a closed elementary building, while Winchendon utilized a Mass Trails grant to upgrade the North Central Pathway as new small businesses opened downtown. While institutional systems struggled with deficits, these grassroots efforts and targeted grants began to fill the gaps in local development and education. While the largest fiscal and environmental challenges remained unresolved, the most immediate emergencies of the month were often met with a high level of cross-border collaboration. When a 3-alarm fire destroyed 60 vehicles at a Templeton auto auction, fire crews from several surrounding towns worked together to extinguish the blaze. Shortly after, the town broke ground on Heroes Park to honor its first responders. Shared history also brought towns together. Royalston and Petersham marked the nation's 250th anniversary milestones by holding public readings of the Declaration of Independence and hikes to local Revolutionary War memorials. This regional cooperation even extended globally. Athol, Orange, and Phillipston combined resources through Operation Fire Taco to donate a refurbished fire truck to a community in Mexico as a gesture of thanks to a local business family. July 2026 tested Greater Gardner with a set of fiscal and environmental problems that 1 month of governance could not fully resolve. But as municipal systems strained under the pressure, the persistent, interconnected support between these 19 towns remained their most durable asset.